I just want to take this time to thank Chris Jericho for doing the right thing last night at Fyter Fest. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, he did the right thing by winning. Yes, he was supposed to win. Let's just get that out of the way. What I'm referring to is the fact that, Chris Jericho, being the star that he is, traveled around the world, this veteran, right, in pro wrestling, who used his star power and made someone like Orange Cassidy, who, let's be real about it, on paper does not deserve to be in the same ring with Chris Jericho. Don't argue it with me. I don't want to fucking hear it. But he made Orange Cassidy feel like $1 million in the ring. Orange Cassidy's stock rose last night, even in defeat. He did more for him losing than it would have been if he won, in my humble opinion. And for a lot of people, let's be real about it, Orange Cassidy is not everyone's cup of tea. I hear it all the time. Oh, Orange Cassidy, he's lazy. The gimmick is shit. Then there's people on the other side of the coin who will tell you that, oh, Orange Cassidy's amazing. He's funny, this and that. Depends where you stand on this topic with Orange Cassidy. At the end of the day, it's a hit and miss. Again, end of the day. I've had the opportunity to watch this guy wrestle twice live. So I seen the gimmick. I seen the whole act live. And it's funny. I'm okay with the gimmick. I'm okay with the act, if you want my honest opinion. But again, Chris Jericho made Orange Cassidy feel like $1 million. And that's what's important, I think, in all this as well. You're elevating someone and putting them on this platform that is the main event of Dynamite, or in this case, Fyter Fest, what have you. And you let them shine. So that was cool, even in defeat. And again, at the same time, I see people as well say, oh, Jericho, again, giving the rub to Orange Cassidy is kind of a letdown for his legacy. This, I don't want to hear that, bro. I really, really don't. Jericho's been around the world for a long time. One of the all-time greats. Again, he's set at the end of the fucking day. Anyway, this is your AEW FYTER Fest Night 2 review. My overall thoughts on what was night number 2 of Fyter Fest. Now, I know a lot of you out there who did double duty last night, just like last week, with night 1 of both Fyter Fest from AEW and night 1 of the Great American Bash from NXT. I was trying to do that last week and it didn't work out. Again, those of you that did double duty last night, bless your hearts. I don't know how you did it, but you fucking did it. I will be watching the Great American Bash night number 2 later on today, and I'll have my full review tomorrow. So again, if you're not yet subbed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below, give the video a big old thumbs up, and hit the bell icon as well, I guess. Be notified when this fucker uploads a video and goes live and shit like that. Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven and all that fun stuff. So I thought the show overall, being night number 2 of Fyter Fest, was pretty solid. I thought night 1 was better. That's just my humble opinion. When you look back at night number 2, what was supposed to be the main event, what became the main event, I thought AEW handled it very, very well. They took a situation that was terrible, that being Jon Moxley being out of night 2 of Fyter Fest and his match against Brian Cage, and they used as a substitution Jericho and Orange Cassidy. That was fine. Very well done by AEW. Question is, will AEW win the ratings war this week? I don't know. The results aren't in yet. In a couple hours, we'll find out the results. But that's beside the point. Guys, in the comments below, give me your thoughts on night 2 Fyter Fest. Did you enjoy it or not? What was your favorite match? And all that fun stuff. Or let me know as well, did you watch both shows at the same time? Or maybe you haven't watched it yet, what have you. Give me your thoughts and all that fun stuff as well. So the show kicked off with a tag team title match for the AEW tag team title between Private Party, who were accompanied by Matt Hardy. And they took on the tag champs, Kenny Omega and Adam Page. I thought overall, for a tag team match, for the tag titles, it was a good opener. It didn't go too long. It was a good timing of a match. Again, they went out there, they gave it their all. I'll say this about Private Party. For a young team, I'm not saying they're bad. They're good. They have a long way to go. I feel like they're still in that learning phase, if you want my honest opinion. I do think that their ring gear is kind of shit. That's just my humble opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Okay? That being said, they are the tag team of the future in AEW. And again, I said this, I think last week, when you look at star power, right? The future stars of AEW, I mentioned, Sammy Guevara once he comes back, a Darby Allin, a Joey Janela, even though he's kind of very underutilized in AEW. But that's beside the point. MJF, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and then you kind of throw in there as well as tag teams, a team like Private Party. So with that being said, again, they looked good here in this match. All the fuck you want. They gave you this idea that, hey, they could have won. They had some good moments here and there. But when all said and done, you had Kenny Omega and Hangman Page pick up the W after they hit their double team, the V trigger with the buckshot lariat onto Mark Quinn. And it was cool too as well with Private Party. You have Matt Hardy, I guess, mentoring them. So again, it's the learning phase still. So again, I thought overall it was a very good opener. The crowd that was there in Daly's place, the so-called crowd, if you will, we're into it too. So there was that. From there, we get to the second match of the night. We had Joey Janela versus Lance Archer. Here's the thing about it. You guys know me. I'm from New Jersey. I'm always going to support my Jersey brother, that being Joey Janela, all the fuck you want. But let's be real about it here. Anyone who literally thought that Joey Janela was going to win, come on, bruh. Come on. At the same time, too, though, you look at someone like Lance Archer, right? The last time I saw him, he lost to Cody at Double or Nothing in the inaugural TNT Championship match, right? And you expect him, and again, this is just me, of course, okay? This is me. I would expect him, that is, right, to come out with, coming out of a cannon almost, if you will, right? Ready to just go and seek and destroy. And here you have a match with Janela. And it took him literally, when you think about it, right? It took him literally 11 minutes to beat up Joey Janela. Granted, when he came out to the ring, he was carrying Sonny Kiss, threw him into Janela. Janela had his moments too. Don't get me the fuck wrong. He did a crossbody to the outside. But again, you think someone like Lance Archer, he should have just literally beat him in 5 minutes. Because that's the perception that AEW makes of Joey Janela. Again, Joey Janela in AEW, in my opinion, I said this earlier, is very underutilized, in my opinion. For a lot of people, and I said this a long time ago, I think it was me or Chase, Joey Janela, before signing to AEW, was considered to be one of the new kings of the indies. This is before AEW, right? One of those guys that was going to carry the independent scene, what have you, when everyone was getting signed. And yet all that goes away, all the reputation went away when he had that altercation with Enzo Amore at a Blink-182 concert, right? So you signed the AEW and all that stuff, right? He had that match with Moxley, right? Where Moxley fucking grabbed his foot and threw in a thumbtack and stuff like that, right? Again, he had moments, don't get me the fuck wrong, but at the end of the day, the perception is Joey Janela is underutilized. Now, likely he'll be in a tag team with Sonny Kiss, which is fine too, because guess what? It's something for both Janela and Sonny Kiss to do. But at the end of the day, Lance Archer got the win with the blackout from the top turnbuckle onto the outside through a table that Janela brought in. And then he threw him back and pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there was a moment in the match too where Jake Robert was distracting the referee, and both Janela and Sonny Kiss did like top rope moves onto Lance Archer for a near fall. But it was all said and done, Lance Archer was made to win here, and there was that. From there, we get the announcement of Taz. Taz had this big announcement with Brian Cage. Now, we all knew again that the original plan was for Brian Cage versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title, which hasn't happened. So instead, we're getting that next week at Fight for the Fallen. Which, again, at the same time, all this was done just to hype up Fight for the Fallen too. So Taz comes out And he talks about, again, Brian Cage and Mox, and he talks about unveiling something. And he reveals the FTW Championship, a title that Taz held many years ago in ECW, his self-proclaimed title that he created, basically, right? That represents the baddest son of a bitch and all that stuff, right? And he gives it to Brian Cage. Yeah, gives it to him. And I kind of get it. I understand. Hey, last night was supposed to be Moxley and Brian Cage for the world title. Moxley wasn't there. So by default, Brian Cage wins technically by forfeit. So in a way, hey, you couldn't get the AEW title. I'm going to give you a title. You are like the uncrowned champion, even though in reality you're not. And what this does is, hey, it hypes up more into Moxley and Brian Cage next week. At the same time, though, I don't really think Moxley's beating Brian Cage clean next week. I think it's going to be a disqualification, because it'll be kind of silly. Think about it, right? If you're AEW, right, you're Taz and you give Brian Cage your title, the FTW title, you crown him the FTW champion, and then you have him lose next week. A week into debuting this title in AEW. And it's funny too, again, for a lot of people on Twitter, it's a hit and miss. Oh, this makes no sense. This is stupid. That belt, I don't give a shit about, what have you. And then you have the AEW cult-like following. The AEW, the toxic fans, if you will, who I guarantee you were born in 2004, who are acting like they know everything about the FTW title, how it's important, this and that. And that's, again, it is what it is. At the end of the fucking day, I think it's silly, honestly. But let's see where this goes. I'm going to give it a chance, but I just would hate to see this end where, oh my God, Moxley beats Brian Cage, and that's the end of the FTW championship. But at the same time, again, Taz on the mic is fucking amazing. An amazing promo at the end of the day by Taz and all that stuff. From there, we get also a video of Darby Allin. Darby Allin, who remembers that Brian Cage took him out a month ago or so. Apparently, he still can't wrestle. But you see him doing a coffin drop onto like this bed of just foams and shit. Is that when you go bungee jumping, you go skydiving almost, and you land on this fucking like a bed of just all the other foams and crap? That's basically what he did. So there's that. I mean, granted, could you do after this Brian Cage and Darby Allin for the FTW title? I mean, again, basically, it's another belt in AEW. Do you need that title honestly in AEW? No. Because technically what you have right now is the world title. You have the TNT Championship, which is basically their Intercontinental title, US title, if you will, right now. You have the tag title, the women's titles, and then you have this FTW belt that's not even recognized by AEW, which, again, is kind of corny, but it is what it is. Let's see where this goes. So there was that. From there, we get the 8-person tag team match between the Young Bucks and FTR versus the Lucha Bros and the Butcher and the Blade. All I gotta say about this, Spot Fest Palooza. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because there's people that are into the whole Spot Fest, holy shit moment. It was a good match. Don't get me the fuck wrong. I enjoyed it for what it was worth. Okay? The fact that this was the first time that FTR and the Young Bucks teamed up, right? They hit their double team moves like it was nothing. It's like these two teams been teaming up for a long time and shit. They meshed well together. Can we talk about Rey Fenix's crazy spot? The fucking Canadian Destroyer to the outside. Holy shit, dude. Fucking insane. Just fucking insane. I'm watching this, right? And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? What the fuck am I watching? Seriously. But it was all said and done, though. There's a moment at the end of the match where, again, everybody was just going crazy. I think it was Matt Jackson who goes for a super kick, and instead, again, Pentagon, I think it was Rey Fenix or Pentagon, they get out of the way and they hit, I want to say, Dax. And there was that. And again, miscommunication. And then the Lucha Brothers, if you will, capitalize and they hit their double team for the win. So the Butcher and the Blade, by default, got a win. They got a fucking win with the Lucha Brothers. And I'm fine with that. And I thought this was going to lead to, I guess, a brawl or something with FTR and the Young Bucks. Again, you want to milk this. Milk it for as much as you can, in my humble opinion. So there's that. Again, I personally feel that the way this is going to go down is that the Young Bucks will probably not get a tag team title match for the AEW titles, for the tag titles, that is, right? Until FTR wins the first from Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Somewhere down the road. That's what I feel is going to happen. I could be wrong on that, but we'll see how all this goes. I think, again, you want them, that being FTR and the Young Bucks, to have that first tag team match at All Out. The last thing you really want to do is have them go at it literally and some random episode of Dynamite, but that's just me, of course. From there, we go to, if I remember correctly here, Nyla Rose versus two enhancement talents whose name no one gives a shit about, Kenzie Page and Kaylin King. This match literally ended in 2 minutes. Again, you show her dominance, she's back, right? You had Hikaru Shida at ringside, and again, she also had an announcement, because again, holy shit, everyone had a fucking announcement here. And she talks about how, you know, in AEW, everyone has a manager or champions, right? Cody is partnered with Arn Anderson, he's the TNT champion, how Taz is managing Brian Cage, and all of a sudden, he just gives Brian Cage a championship. So, in her logic, right? By the way, she talks rusty shit. I'm just saying that too. By her logic, if she gets a manager, she will be AEW Women's Champion. And she's talking to Hikaru Shida too, who's also at ringside and shit, right? She announces that she will get a manager. We'll find out who is who. I personally feel is probably going to be a Alundra Blaze or a Medusa. Probably, likely. We shall see who is going to be. Probably Vicky Guerrero. You know, Vicky Guerrero's been there a couple of times in the audience, right? So who to say could be Vicky Guerrero? We'll see. So there's that. Vicky Guerrero probably managing Nyla Rose, or maybe Medusa. I think more Vicky Guerrero, but we'll see. But that's what's going to happen. And she vows to once again reclaim, recapture, if you will, her AEW Women's Championship. So yeah, everyone in AEW getting a manager. It's like, holy shit, they're having this sale on managers. I'm just saying. From there, we get Nyla Rose, my bad, Colt Cabana and the Dark Order, that being Brody Lee and Stu Grayson, versus SoCal Uncensored of Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. I thought this match, honestly, was okay. I had to go crazy, but like, honestly, am I a big fan of this whole Colt Cabana storyline that he is going to probably join the Dark Order? No, I really don't care about it, to be honest. I'm not really big on the Dark Order. Even with the reveal of Brody Lee and his wannabe Vince McMahon gimmick, I'm not big on it. To me, it's a dud. In my honest opinion. To me, all this went away the moment he lost to Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing. Because now what? I can't take you serious no more. I can't. This is my humble opinion. Granted, they showed a video where Colt Cabana had this like hematoma on his like ribcage area and shit. And Brody wants him to get dressed. But again, this match was whatever, honestly. Colt Cabana picked up the win because Brody Lee offered Cabana the win. And backstage, they're basically giving Cabana a custom t-shirt that says Colt Cabana with the Dark Order logo. I don't know where this is going to go. If I'm to make a guess here, likely it's Colt Cabana turning down the Dark Order, right? He's playing with the Dark Order to believe that, hey, he's going to join, but he doesn't join at the end. That's what I see happening here. So there's that. From there, we get an announcement of what's to take place the next week at Fight for the Fallen. What we know thus far is going to be Brian Cage and Jon Moxley for the AEW World title, as you guys know already. Brian Cage has been awarded the FTW Championship. We're also getting Cody, who will also be appearing on Hot Ones with Sean Oliver on True TV. He'll be defending the TNT Championship against Sonny Kiss, which is cool, I guess. You're giving Sonny Kiss the platform, the opportunity. So there's that. It should be a very interesting match. And we're also going to be getting the Elite of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy, Marco Stunt, and Luchasaurus. And also a match that I look forward to seeing next week is FTR of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler versus the Lucha Bros of Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr. Again, Fight for the Fallen is a very, very stacked card, if you want my humble opinion on that. Now, I'm wondering how will NXT rebuttal, but we'll see. We get to the main event. Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. This was great. Everything about it was fucking amazing. Don't get me the fuck wrong. I enjoyed this for what it was worth. You had Santana and Ortiz who were accompanying Jericho. They had orange juice, a whole 1 gallon of oranges that you would get at Wawa or some shit like that, right? And again, the match was worth, again, like I said earlier, Chris Jericho carrying Orange Cassidy to a good match, making Orange Cassidy feel like $1 million. That is what a veteran's supposed to do at the end of the day, in my humble opinion here. Take a young talent that on paper does not deserve to be in the ring with this said star, if you will, right? And making them feel like $1 million. There was a moment in this match where you thought that Orange Cassidy was going to win. There's moments here where Orange Cassidy got serious, right? There's a moment where Jericho locks in the walls of Jericho, and you see Cassidy just screaming. He's like in pain, and he counters it into a roll-up, right? To like a cradle, if you will, for a near fall. Got all these near falls on Chris Jericho, right? All these near falls, right? There's a moment where they throw orange juice at Orange Cassidy too, but that's here nor there also. But again, Orange Cassidy was on a fucking roll with these like Superman punches, what have you. Went to the well one too many times and gets hit with the Judas effect. And with that, Jericho got the 1, 2, 3 as I expected, and he beats Orange Cassidy. But again, the loss did more for Orange Cassidy, I feel, than if he would have won. Right? They're saying, oh, the biggest upset would be if he were to beat Jericho. But again, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't. And again, people are upset about this. Oh, Jericho, you know, this is a downgrade for him, whatnot. I don't see it that way. I think, again, Jericho's already set, whether you like it or not. He's a set guy already. Already established name. No one's going to take that away from him. No one's taking that away from him, right? But he did something here again, what he needed to do. Make someone like Orange Cassidy feel like $1 million. Gave him the rub of Jericho, if you will. Rub it in, man. And there was that. I don't see the feud ending. Probably continuing later on. Maybe we'll get a 6-person tag of Jericho and Santana and Ortiz versus Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. We'll see. But overall, again, I thought Fight for the Fallen Night 2 was a solid show. I thought Night 1 was a little better, but that's my humble opinion. The question is, was this show better than the Great American Bash Night 2? I don't know yet. I haven't watched that show yet. I'll be watching it later on today, and I'll review it tomorrow. So, if you're not yet subbed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. And as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, you dorks, I am Steve, and it's wrestling and whatever.